Lane. That was amazing. This has been such a fun process. Lane and Sierra, thank you so much for putting this together. It's been the best. Okay. Claire is not detail-oriented and is still honing her skills to be successful in this role. Because of this, she earns a letter D on her performance review. When my manager read this to me, I just about lost it. I had never gotten a D in my entire life. My palms were sweating and my throat was tightening in that crying way, but I don't cry at work. Who do you think he was giving me a D? I was built for this job at WBEZ. In today's America, public media is all about shattered and defunct. But back in 2022, when I applied to WBEZ, public media was still a vibrant industry. I got the job for 2 reasons. I knew how to use Salesforce, and I'm a Nepo baby. But not the Hollywood kind, the public media kind. Not only am I from Washington, D.C., the heart of news media, but my parents are also kind of a big deal. My mom was the creative director at PBS Kids. Woo! And my dad was an executive producer for PBS NewsHour. Among other credits. To those in the world of public media, I was the daughter of royalty. In fact, when I applied for a job at Chicago's PBS station, WTTW, the interview actually started with, "So, you're Paul Malkie's daughter?" Yeah. I eventually landed the job at WBEZ, and whenever I had the chance to work from home from my parents' house, I would always make sure my Zoom camera showed off my dad's daytime Emmys.
Nice.
And my mom's original poster from Ken Burns' The Civil War.
Oh.
When one of my superiors asked about the poster, I nonchalantly said, "My mom did the original promotions." Even from across the Zoom camera, I could see they were impressed. There was also a third reason I got the job. When I hadn't heard back from the hiring manager, I went directly to the source. I searched the WBEZ website and noticed they had a staff directory. I found the director of development and sent him an email through the contact form on his bio. My mom helped me draft a very professional email along the lines of, "So y'all still hiring or what?" The next day I had an interview lined up, and within the week, I got the job.
Thank you.
My new manager told me point blank that the email I sent him gave me a leg up in the hiring process. He said it showed my drive and my tenacity to follow through with a goal. One of my favorite parts of the job was interacting with donors. The thing about being from DC is we're inherently taught how to engage in polite but effective conversation. They said be kind to everyone, but not because kindness is an inherently good thing, but because it's good to have friends in high places.
Yeah, exactly.
Jeff knows. I knew how to turn on the charm. Okay, are you guys all ready for a charm lesson?
Yes.
Okay. So you put on a big smile, like seeing that person just made your day. But it's not like a campy smile, it's a genuine smile. You look your conversation partner in the eyes, but only every 2 to 3 exchanges. If their eyes start to dart around, they're uncomfortable. Don't make your conversation partner uncomfortable. That undoes the charm. The most important piece is listen to what they're saying. Ask follow-up questions. Inquire further into their answers. Be fully present with them. The adage goes, people don't remember what you say, but they do remember how you make them feel. And when people feel heard, they feel understood. They feel loved. But I did not love all my coworkers, let's get that straight. Especially my manager. I was perfect for this role, so what gave him the audacity to give me a D? The truth is I was failing. I was actually really bad at the job. Admin for the fundraising team at WBEZ was not the dream job I imagined it to be. It was so much math. Every day I floundered at my desk. I stared blankly at data sets and Excel spreadsheets, wondering how did I end up here? I have a BFA in classical acting. What the hell was I doing working in fundraising for a nonprofit? Although my winning personality got me far, it couldn't easily correct all the errors I made in the budget tracker. Turns out the extra zeros make a big difference. $200 million and $2 million are in fact very, very different. What I lacked in math skills, I made up with something that comes easily to me: people skills. I had friends across the organization. I often talked with the director of donor giving about his record collection and his love for Frank Lloyd Wright. I chatted with the CEO's assistant about our latest thrift finds. I won over the vice president of programming when we worked on the pledge drive together. She said she was surprised I hadn't worked in radio before. She didn't need to know I used to have a podcast. And one of my friends is even here tonight. I felt like a double agent, like Hannah Montana with a secret. Except instead of masking my pop star alter ego, I was hiding my extreme incompetence when it came to Excel formulas. I hated my job and wore a face of makeup to cover up the depression. When I had big projects to work on, I would hole up in one of the meeting rooms and desperately Google formula to find data discrepancies between two Excel spreadsheets. When that failed, I would call my ex-boyfriend, who went to business school, and beg him to give me a crash course in Excel. I told him all the time that he would be amazing at my job, to which he would respond, "Why would I work at a nonprofit when I'm making triple working in the private sector?" Yeah, he's my ex for a reason.
Yeah. Woo!
Yeah. Unfortunately, we are all at the mercy of capitalism. So I'd sit in the meeting room, having a crisis, but by the grace of God himself, I'd figure out something and at least have some work to show for my hours of labor. Then I would pop out into the bullpen and join my coworkers for lunch, and with my bright and sunshiny personality, as if I wasn't just hyperventilating 10 minutes ago. Sometimes I fear I'm lying to people because I'm only showing the most polished version of myself. I hold on to relationships because I think they might help me later. It's all about the way I'm perceived and what I can maintain for my benefit. But when I really sit with it though, I don't believe I'm using people. I'm interested in the details of humanity, rather than the details of a data set. I'm plagued by Sonder. Sonder is the realization that every stranger, every passerby, every single person is living a complex and intricate life that's just as expansive as your own. Sonder is why I love taking public transportation. We're all on our own journeys together. I think I first encountered Sonder while working in the service industry. I interacted with strangers every day. Every shift was some kind of celebration, an anniversary, a birthday, a promotion, a retirement. All these patrons chose our restaurant to commemorate their special moment. I didn't know their reasons and never would, even though I was so eager to pull up a chair and inquire about their life's adventures. Tell me every single detail that led you up to this moment. Don't spare one single thing. I've mostly come to terms with the fact that I failed with my job at WBEZ. I quit weeks before what I'm sure would have been my imminent termination. I didn't want to face that reality, a permanent record of my shortcomings. I couldn't bear the idea of disappointing my family business. But that's not how my family operates. They would have been more disappointed if I stayed in a job that was destroying me. Maybe I'll never be detail-oriented when it comes to numbers, but if anything, I know I will always be enchanted by humanity.